What's up, guys? Welcome to Crypto Cartel. We're going to be doing live TA on the crypto markets, talking about the best opportunities in the market right now. It's been a crazy time in the markets. Elections are tomorrow, and it's everyone's getting whipsawed. We don't know if Kamala's going to win, if Trump's going to win. We think we're pretty confident it's going to be a Trump victory, and if he wins, basically everything's going to send to Valhalla. So we're going to be talking about what's going to pump the hardest, basically. So we're going to be taking a look at the market, seeing what areas are outperforming and where we think there's the most money to be made. So with that, let's take a quick look at Bitcoin, Alex.
Awesome. Hey, welcome, guys. Let's go ahead and take a look at Bitcoin. Boom. All right. So, last week we talked about, I think it was Friday, we talked about specific levels, right? Breaking down specific trends. We did break down out of this smaller trend here, which, it's fine for now because we're still holding support in this region. So just what I'm seeing as of now, short term is, we're in this flag that we've been respecting for quite some time, right? So we keep bouncing off of making lower lows, right? Got rejected, pumped, rejected, came down here, pumped again, rejected, right? And we could potentially see it down to, 66, 65 region, in the coming days. I would say I was reading about when we'll know about the election, and I know that we'll know a lot about them around, Wednesday? And then there's a few ballots that need to count for like specific states for like Wednesday and Thursday. So for sure, we'll know who's leading the polls by Wednesday, and then Thursday probably like almost like a finalized version, Wednesday or Thursday, right?
You don't think we'll have it tomorrow night?
What's that? No. I mean, we'll get most of the votes, but we won't get all the votes. So there's like specific states have it different days, but we have most of them tomorrow. But then there's a big chunk. There's like 4 or 5 states, I think, for Wednesday, right? And then some leftovers that they're still going to count for Thursday. But most likely, I would say Wednesday, the main ones, right? And I think that's going to cause us to do a few things, right? Depending on who wins. It's kind of funny. We may not even, big. I mean, I don't know. But let's just say Kamala wins, right? I could see us, going down maybe to 66, all the way down to like 64, 63. That's like a good scenario. Bad
Lower than
scenario.
that, she wins.
Yeah. Bad scenario that Kamala wins and the market reacts really bad, 59K, all the way down to 52K. All right. So that's yeah, I'm giving you those levels, right? Just levels to look at in general, right? This one right here. This right here, the 65 region, this 60 region, 60, 62 region, and then the next one would be this region, like the 52 region, right? If we're bullish, yeah, expect to see 78 to 80K. That's my target, regardless. So, I mean, I would say, we've had this flag for quite some time in the making. So I'd say 83 to 78, anywhere around here, we'd have a good pump. Maybe more, but we'll just leave it at that for Bitcoin. Again, the whiplash has been pretty rough. Another thing I want to talk about is Total 3. Total 3 has been looking quite bearish. And, Henry and I were talking earlier, and he made a good point. It could be just people, selling off their alts, just making sure that they're protecting themselves. However, if you look at this weekly, the MACD is just really bad. Like we had a nice little pump and back to green. Stochastics is pointing to the downside. We haven't even completed a stochastics like all the way to the top, like a move to the top, right? Kind of like this or like this. And then the RSI is just looking very weak. Yeah, we crossed a little bit bearish here. So honestly, it seems like if Kamala wins, like we should be seeing Total 3 should have a nice sell off to like almost 500 bill. So right now we're at 585. So it's not looking, I mean, overall, like over the last few days, I didn't like how alts have been. We didn't break through this. So that's bearish. And that's on the weekly, right? So we almost like double topped. And I personally don't like that, which in a way, if I'm looking at the charts, I'm kind of, there's two things. Either, Henry's right that we are selling off alts, just protecting ourselves, or, Kamala wins and, alts are basically screwed. So that's what I have for both Bitcoin and Total 3.
Yeah, so I'm gonna take backtrack a bit and take a quick look at Bitcoin, then we can look at the rest of the market. But um, I think with alts, the majority are going to obviously struggle in this environment because there's really no reason to bid them until we know the results. And when it's such a like binary outcome where, well, the market's perceiving it as a binary outcome. I don't think it is, but it's basically alts go to Valhalla if Trump wins and they die if Kamala wins. I don't think that's the case. Do you see my screen, by the way?
Yeah.
Cool. I think certain alts do better under Trump, uh, and certain alts do worse under Kamala. But I think the market is kind of overplaying. I could be wrong. They're overplaying how strict Kamala is going to be. I do think she's going to be better than Biden was. But at the end of the day, she's still a Democrat. Elizabeth Warren and her crew hate crypto, so maybe she's just more of the same. But what I'm thinking for myself is like, which there's certain alts and certain coins like Bitcoin that are going to do well regardless of the outcome. So
Right.
like Bitcoin for me does well under like it doesn't need a Trump win. Like obviously a Trump win would make it pump a lot faster, but I think even if Kamala wins, the bull case is still the same, which is debasement, liquidity increasing, the halving cycle. All that is still in play, right, for Bitcoin. And even more bullish is people that sell the other alts. They don't necessarily want to sidestep crypto altogether. Maybe they buy more Bitcoin. So I could see
Right.
like even something. I have a couple of levels marked out here. I think we could bounce around here. Um, I think this is all strong support from 67 to 63, somewhere in there. It's a big range, but I think if we get under 63, which was the quarterly open, then yeah, there's probably some more pain ahead. But I think at the end of the day, it's gonna be like a liquidation type of thing, like this, like, and then V reversal is what I think is gonna happen. But it could take a little longer. Either way, I think it's resolving above 80K within the next 2 months. That's kind of my take. But obviously, under Trump, that timeline would go a lot faster, and targets increase a lot more. And I think the one other category that I like actually besides Bitcoin is memes, right? Because memes, I don't think they can be securities. At least I don't think you can prove that they are, especially if they can't prove even Ripple is a security. So in both scenarios, I think memes and Bitcoin do well. What do you think of that, Alex?
No, yeah. So yeah, back to the whole thing. I mean, the thing Bitcoin does the whiplash, right? Regardless, we are going to see the higher highs on BTC.
Yeah, because no
It's,
doubt some people bought
yeah,
because they thought Trump would win, and when he doesn't,
yeah,
those people are going to sell. So no doubt there
and
could be some pain.
yeah, I mean for sure. And then maybe people are sidestepping. They're like, all right, regardless, like it's a good place to go cash right now. And if anything happens, we just wait to see it. And people maybe just buy in a lot of Bitcoin because I was looking at the Bitcoin dominance chart and it's still looking bullish, like very bullish. So that says a lot, right? But in
Yeah,
general, yeah, no, I agree with that. I would say, Bitcoin memes are going to outperform, and maybe 2 to 3 alts that are going to, I think, still do well. So
yeah, and I think alts sell off and Bitcoin goes up is definitely
yeah,
like a
and
base case. But let's remember, you know, Trump is still ahead in the polls. He's still the favorite at this moment. He is the favorite in polls and poly market. So the base case is that Trump wins, and in that scenario, I mean, that's obviously a big boost for crypto. I think I could see a lot of institutions that potentially were waiting for some clarity just ape in.
yeah,
So
for sure.
that's basically the situation. I think some categories like DeFi or things with like revenue shares might struggle, but under Kamala. But overall, I think it's going to be positive for Bitcoin. And I want to look at like what's it's because people have been de-risking, right? So I want to look at like even when people are de-risking, what are they buying right now in this type of environment? Like what are the areas of safety by the market, perceived by the market? And if we just quickly, I mean, Doge. So Doge is the top gainer in the top 100. That's basically people front running a Trump win, right? With Musk taking charge of the Department of what is it, government efficiency.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I just want to throw out like everything has been dumping except Doge. Doge has been performing incredibly, and obviously this shows. But I think people are underestimating Doge, honestly.
Yeah, I agree. If Trump wins, I might just ape like as soon as we know. I might just ape Doge because I could see it just going on a crazy run. And this is interesting. So in the top 300, the top gainers are MAGA. So people positioning ahead of a Trump win potentially. And then Nasana, their AI. Flog, we talked about Flog on the Friday stream. We did a whole deep dive on our top meme coins. And that was one of them from like 40 to 50% since we talked about it. So pretty solid dub there. So it's interesting, right? Same categories as always, the memes and AI. If we look at like from a sector perspective, and it's you still have some winners even when Bitcoin sells off. Like there's still a bid on this stuff. So like when I see this on a down day, to me these are going to run the hardest when the market bounces. Which is I did buy some Flog. I wish I bought more. I'll have to just buy more, even higher. So if we look at the daily sector performance, and again, we want to find strength in the market to know, what areas are being bid. So sector performance today, gaming is down the least. Everything is down today from a sector standpoint. Then the L1s and memes and DeFi are kind of tied. So kind of goes with that theory that I had, right, of like L1s and memes. But I think certain L1s do well regardless of whether Kamala or Trump win. So let's dive a little deeper on the L1s. Maybe we can spend some time looking at those. So today, DOT is down the least. That's kind of random. Everything's basically down, right? FTM is down the most. And let's zoom out a bit here. SUI is up. Everything is down except SUI over the last week. So SUI, we've been covering SUI a lot because it's kind of become the leader, like basically the Solana of this cycle, right?
Yeah.
So I think maybe we can start taking a look there, and then maybe some of the ecosystem plays. Because so my thesis is, if Trump wins, okay, if Kamala wins, Bitcoin and memes, right? Bitcoin and memes do well. Everything goes down, but then Bitcoin and memes bounce the hardest. If Trump wins, everything rips, but things that have already been doing that showing strength, like SUI and Sol, rip harder. That's kind of my thesis. And I've started talking, how we talked about on Friday. I've started positioning in Solana memes with that thesis because, again, I'm kind of covering myself on both sides if my thesis plays out. And, if Solana, and then, if the leaders, I expect the leaders to keep leading, essentially. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, spot on. Everything that we've been repeating for the last month, essentially, has been working out the way in our favor. So I think that's going to continue to do that, right?
Yeah. So I like everything on Solana, like especially everything that's kind of has shown itself to have staying power. So things like obviously the big caps, WIF, PopCat. Those I'd say WIF and PopCat are like gonna do well if Solana eventually breaks 200. But I'm also positioning in like future, what I think are future blue chips like Fog, Ponky. Well, I'm not in Ponky, but we should look at that one actually.
Yeah.
I'm in Retardio, Mumu. So like these in the 100 mil to 300 mil range, I expect some of these to run to a billion pretty quick. So yeah, I think there's a lot there, right? But I think we should start off looking at Solana and Sui to kind of mark out the levels. You can see Solana's on the 2 week down the least, and if we go to monthly, yeah, Sol's leading on the monthly up 10%. Tron randomly, it's Sui and Sol, right? Like those are the areas of strength. What's that?
Yeah, exactly. Those are going to be the only. I mean, if we want to make money, I think the market has already understood that, right? Because the market is showing a lot of bids on both Sui and Solana. Even though a lot of L1s have dumped, the market understands like where the strength is. That's why they keep buying, and I think that's why it's still performing, right?
Yeah. So I think we take a look at Sui, Solana, maybe some of the ecosystem plays, and probably I want to take a look at MAGA too. Just so let's take a look at like what's going to get bid if Trump wins, right? And like we might not be early, but maybe we can still catch the meat of that move. So the first thing that's going to get bid is Doge. Do you want to take a look at that one?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's go ahead and I already was looking at this chart for quite some time now. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Awesome. So yeah, I've had what do you call it? Doge in my eye for quite some time. And like I talk about these falling channels, right? So we've been respecting that. We pumped, dumped. So you could long or short this in the 4-hour time frame if you'd want. But essentially, what we did is we came down. Did a retest on support, and this chart kind of looks like Bitcoin too, right? We did a retest on that, and now, crazy enough, the market dumped. But no, look at this whiplash on Doge around here. Doge said no. They were like, no, like we still want to stay in the market. So we broke out of this, and it looks like Doge wants to continue to pump. Essentially, we broke out of this falling flag, right? And what it's showing strength, and we want to break out. That's what it wants, and it wants 20 cents. Essentially, that's what we're going to see it next, right? Of course, after we break the lows of the 18 cents region, right? But overall, this is looking really bullish. The weekly's looking very strong as opposed to total 3, if you remember that. And then the daily. Look, we touched the 21 MA on the daily perfectly, right? And then we bounced off of that, and that's very bullish overall. So expect more upside for Doge in general.
So in the case that there may be some FUD or early results kind of show Kamala in the lead and we get a dip on Doge, what do you think are some good levels to bid?
I mean, Doge, honestly.
Or do you think we don't even get it?
I think Doge is going to be one of those that may ignore it in general. I think it's going to be, to me,
Doge is ignoring it right now, literally.
Exactly, yeah. So exactly. So to me, it's going to be in the category of Sol, Sui, and Doge, along with Bitcoin. They're strong contenders, and like I said, if you see this chart, like if you see the weekly, let's just say we do get a dump back to like 14 cents level, 14.25. It's going to make a W pattern, right? Or it can go a little lower to like 13, and it's going to rip from there. So it's gonna bounce hard, or if it wins, it's going to bounce hard. So either way, I think this is an easy trade and an easy winner overall. And then one last thing.
As long as Trump wins, that's the key caveat.
I still think this one is bullish regardless of Trump winning. I think it's one of those that's going to get ignored.
Well, if there is that Kamala sell-off, right, like a liquidation cascade, I think Doge is one of the best opportunities to get positioned for the longer term, because Doge is it's proven itself as a blue chip. It's shown it can outperform at certain periods of the cycle. And I have a couple interesting charts here kind of showing that.
Let me go ahead and do one last one on Sol before we move on. just because we're talking about Sol, Sui, and Doge. But essentially, what I have Sol as is a pennant, and it's a massive pennant from March 24. We've been going up and down, up and down, up and down, but we've been respecting levels, right? And one thing that I like here, as you were talking earlier, I was doing a quick look at this. We did a shoulder, head, and shoulder, right? And what are we doing right now? We broke out. We're essentially retesting that shoulder, head, and shoulder. We could come down a little lower, maybe to like 150, and then rip from there, right? So Sol to me is looking very bullish. Bearish levels, like I would say, do not break 127, 130, which again, if Kamala wins, maybe we see that, and then we see the rip back up, or Trump wins and we just continue. We see this continuation. But to me, Sol is primed, and like we've talked about it in the past. Although it's showing a little bit of bearish signs, but like we said in the past, I would say 500 to 1,000 for Sol.
Especially under Trump, it's probably on the short list to get an ETF.
Absolutely.
So it's got all Sol is the big winner, as the main character of the cycle.
Yeah. And, so you want to share a few?
Yeah, I'll just pull up these two really quick. So this is basically talking about the Golden Cross. So the last time the Golden Cross happened, looks like it's on the weekly. It went from less like a tenth of a cent to 50 cents. So nice. Crazy run. And it looks like it's about to have a Golden Cross again. So definitely something to keep an eye on. And this is more from like a market structure perspective of like you had like the dump phase, like the crazy run up, the dump, consolidation, accumulation range here, like breakout, retest, and you're kind of going into this stage 5 where it goes crazy, right? So definitely like Doge, even on a sell-off. If we get it, I'm probably bidding. I think we should take a quick look at Doge, maybe Doge BTC, because at the end of the day, like if Bitcoin's going to go on a crazy leg, we have to be in stuff that's outperforming Bitcoin, right? There's no point of buying alts if they're not going to be outperforming Bitcoin. So we can take a quick look. So Doge BTC. Yeah, so I had it. I drew this a while ago, but basically after every like October election year / halving year, and Doge has like a crazy outperformance. Like it happened in 2016, 2020, even crazier, and now we're at that stage again. Like October, we just got out of October of a halving year, so it's doing the thing that it always does, which is right on cue, and you can't fade like cyclicality in the crypto market because everything is a cycle. Everyone uses fractals, and it's all a 4-year cycle based on like liquidity and the halving, obviously. So I think currently it's just broken above the monthly open, and it's looking really bullish against Bitcoin. I gotta say, like any pullbacks are probably forbidding. Like I had drawn this earlier, it went much higher than I thought it would. But any pullbacks into like this zone, if you get it, like you might not even get it because, as I said, like I'm not the only one that knows that there comes a time where Doge just starts going crazy, and this might be the start of that.
So yeah, I just want to add something to that. Remember, right now, that pump that we've had for since Doge decided to pump against BTC, it's only a 40% move, and we're just in the beginning, right? So if you really think about it, this thing could do some damage or potentially go back to all-time highs like it did before, right? So we could look at an easy 2 to 3x guaranteed on this one, right? Obviously, or maybe even higher. That's what I gotta say. But it's looking extremely bullish in general to me in the monthly, in the 2 week, and it's gearing up for something.
Yeah, if we zoom out on like the 2 week, this is versus Bitcoin. the trend is still bearish, but it's pointing up, and then on the weekly, it's starting to give you a bull sign. So definitely looking super strong. I think Doge is definitely gonna. It's not just an election play. I mean, imagine if Trump wins, then Elon will get to use Doge, the Department of Government Efficiency, that acronym, over and over and over, right? And people are just going to keep hearing about Doge. So it does well under, like extremely well under that, but even under Kamala, I'm pretty bullish.
Yeah.
I think the other one we wanted to look at was Sui, right?
Yeah. Sui.
So Sui, we could take, and there's a lot of red in the market. So we can do Sui USD first. So I had drawn this area of support earlier, and obviously a really bullish trend on the weekly. And if we zoom into the 3-day, it's, and you have a wick. Like obviously there's demand in the zone, but it is below the monthly open, around 198. So could be that it needs to consolidate a bit more, or obviously on a Trump victory, I think this can break out pretty significantly. And if Bitcoin really goes on a run, I could see this thing going into price discovery as well. And let's take a look versus Bitcoin. So versus Bitcoin, I think we do have some resistance here, and it makes sense because if you think about the way usually Bitcoin runs, it's going to outperform altcoins on that first big leg. So stuff like Sui is going to go down, but then once it's kind of done its thing, something like a Sui is really gonna play catch up, right? So I think it needs to get above this resistance, and maybe it goes lower before that. But overall, I think huge W pattern, looks like it could eventually at least reach all-time high, and if even if it's depending on how its growth is going, maybe even go into price discovery versus Bitcoin, right? Because it's in its first cycle.
Yeah.
Anything you're seeing here?
Yeah, I just want to give the bullish and bearish scenario really quick, and then just levels of where to look at if you guys want to bid, right? So one of the things that I was looking at in the smaller time frame, like the 4-hour time frame, was we did break out of this 150. We came up all the way to 215, and then we're doing a retest right now, right? So we broke out of the trend. Now we're doing a retest, right? So 2 levels to watch if Kamala wins, right? First level would be 164 to 158, 159, right? That region. And I say that because the 21 MA and the 3-day is here, right, in this area. So expect, and we've bounced a few times from here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, so there's been a lot of bounces in the 3-day there. And then the other one would be the 130. And that's like, for example, let's just say that she wins and then we have a really bad sell-off, or maybe, BTC pumps and then, dominance goes into, obviously BTC dominance goes higher, right? But anyway, 2 levels to really look at are these 2, right? The 132 and then the 164, right? So if you do want to bid, if we break one of these, then you can, if I see one at 130, if I see Sui at 130, I'm bidding in like a leverage 7x of like, I don't know, like a big amount of money. But, these are levels to watch in the bearish scenario. And the bullish scenario, we are doing a retest. And then, expect to see, in my opinion, like 272 would be next, right? I'm pretty sure we just rip through these numbers. But yeah, just want to show those different levels.
Yeah, and it is showing the most strength. This and Sol are the 2 chosen ones, right?
Yeah.
So that just tells me, like, focus on Sol, focus on Sui ecosystem plays. But unlike Sol, like we talked about the Sol memes on Friday, and we gave our scenarios there, and there was a dip over the weekend, but they are up since we talked about them.
Yeah. And one thing, just kind of quickly, I do want to talk about, as we're talking about the Sui in general and Sui ecosystem. This is a very small cap, so I don't know what to make of Sui, right?
That's the Telegram bot that I sent you that one time.
Oh, damn. Okay.
But
yeah,
it went down. It got up to like 2.5 million, and now it's down again. So
yeah, so I mean, over the last 7 days, it pumped. It went back to 1 million market cap. But these to me are very interesting, and I don't know if that's making me bullish or not. But remember how we saw the flows of ETH going into SUI, right? And then
Yeah.
maybe this is where the money's going, right? Because we have Turbos Finance, we have Deep Book Protocol, we have Cetus. Like these are all DEXs, right? And they're performing 41%, right? 14%, Cetus 15%, 12%. Turbos Finance really surprises me with 41%, right? So there's a lot of green in the SUI ecosystem, while everything else is getting pummeled. You can see that SUI is actually performing well. And one that really stood out to me right now was AlphaFi. This one's at 8 million market cap with 10 million of circulating supply, right? Right now, current supply circulating is 5 million. So this is one to really look at. It could perform, it could do numbers, but anyway, you guys can take your time and kind of look through these top SUI charts and projects.
Yeah. So one thing I'm noticing is SUI, like they keep having really sustained inflows. Maybe we can take a quick look at those.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. But at the same time, so CoinGecko also has a page on the SUI ecosystem, and I think they have some different ones, but overall it's pretty similar. And you can see, SUI's up 7.5% over the last week, basically the same over the last 30 days. And
wow,
the biggest gainers over the last week are, this is basically like a shit coin. It's 40K market cap, so I wouldn't really count that. And you have Sui in the lead, so the Telegram bot, but obviously it had a big sell-off. Sui Dog, low cap shitter again. And then, you have Turbos and AAA Cat, which we've covered AAA Cat a lot.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I want to quickly cover, like, what happens when the L1 token has a crazy run. Well, you have to think, like, what do people do on the L1s? Well, the thing that they do is they trade on DEXs, right? So this is Raydium, the most used DEX on Solana, and you can see from basically when the bull run started, October 2023, to now, it's done like a 16x. Okay. And that's Raydium, the biggest DEX on Solana. So it's no surprise that you see like stuff like Turbos. I think Cetus was one of them. Let's look at the last 30 days. Blue Move is a DEX, Cetus. But so I think what's happening is, and then if we go into the flows of into Sui, like money is the money is flowing in, right? The liquidity is there. The conditions are there for things to go up. And you can see over the last 3 months, almost $1 billion in flows. Most of that coming out of ETH, interestingly. So not really hurting Solana, and mostly coming out of ETH. And then last month, 300 million of that. And over the last week, 100 million. So that's pretty substantial, right?
It's constant. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So, and then, so basically what I'm trying to say is the first thing that people are going to bid is utility, like the safe stuff, right? And that's kind of what you're seeing here in this price action. Like, but you're also seeing people bid memes. And what I like to look at is like volume. So obviously the top ones are Sui and USDC, the trading pair. But you have Hippo, Deep Book, Cetus. So these two are sexes. Hippo is basically has the most volume. It's got 36 million in volume at a 50 million market cap. So we probably want to take a look at that one. Scallop, Navi are both DEXs. But here's my thinking, like, because I feel, and maybe this could be wrong. Maybe I need to buy both, but I'm gonna skip over the DEXs and go straight to the memes, because at the end of the day, my thesis, as I said from the beginning, is that memes do well under both regimes, and I know that memes are the most reflexive. So, yes, I'll eat more drawdown if it turns out to be the case that Sui goes down. But I'm also I stand to be really rewarded for taking bigger risk, right? So, if we look at the memes that I think are worth taking a look at, we have Hippo, which is at a $50 million market cap. So
yeah, just really quickly, I'm looking at. I mean, yeah, go ahead. We'll look at the chart. Are you going to look at the chart?
Yeah, that's what we're here for, right?
Yeah. All right.
Cool. Hippo, Blub, FUD, and you have Sui Man, but that's 1.6 million, and AAA Cat. Now, we can get into the specific ones, but basically these are the big four: Hippo, Blub, FUD, and AAA Cat. To me, the one I'm most bullish on as a concept, I haven't looked at like holders or social following or anything or content, but as a concept, AAA Cat to me is the only one that's actually a meme out of all of these. Like maybe Hippo is kind of a meme, but it's like cute animal, right? Blub, it's just like a character. FUD is a character. AAA Cat, it's a screaming cat. Like it's the only one that's funny, and it's at 9 million. And you know, if you think about like, we think this cycle could be the cat meme cycle with PopCat going up to 10 billion. I could see people comparing ACAT to PopCat and that becoming the PopCat of Sui. So that's kind of where I'm at. Like I think Sui's looking bullish. If Trump wins, which is my base case, then Sui memes should do well.
Hey, I know that we're going to run in time right now, but I just really want to show you guys something. All right. As you were talking, right. Look, I mean, we have Hippo for a while, and I've seen this chart for the longest time. Do you see it? Like this is just a downtrend.
Yeah, we looked on the stream when it was at 150 million.
Yeah, remember? And this was like a month ago.
But we faded it.
No, but this is crazy because it's been downtrend since we started the stream. And this kind of blows my mind. Like, so what does this mean? Like, it means that Hippo is actually losing followers unless we hit the 718 and people
losing market share.
Yeah, but unless, like I said, we maybe hit 786 and then we bump. But this is bad because I want to show you the next thing, right? And one thing that you were saying is, you know, AAA Cat. Yeah. So when we had that like really bad dump on Sui. Guess what AAA did? AAA Cat did from top to bottom, it did 140% gain. And what did Hippo do? It just dumped. So
look at FUD and what's the other one? FUD, Blub. Like to me, there's probably, if you think about what happened on Solana, even on base, you had memes go to 300 million, 500 million, a billion in some like rare cases, right? And to me, it's anyone's ball game in Sui. Like these are so close together that whoever actually starts leading is probably going to become the magnet of that liquidity. Because right now you just have like the kind of like the smart, bidding like utility and tech alts, but eventually the degeneracy is going to start, and those guys are going to be bidding the memes.
Yeah. I mean, look at this. Like FUD, same thing, just downtrend, and we've had more rhythm and momentum in AAA Cat. And this is just again, these charts, just as I'm looking at them right now, makes me even more bullish on AAA
from a structure perspective, right? Exactly. What about Blub?
And then Blub, but yeah, guys, make sure you're looking at the 786 for both FUD and Hippo. We could have a bounce there potentially, but I'm still with AAA Cat there. Let's see. So that just makes me think I have to build like a 10K portfolio on AAA. You know what I mean? I just DCA all the way down.
But also, just to play bear advocate for a bit.
Yeah.
In the bear case, it's less in market cap for a reason, right? It hasn't had as much appeal or hasn't had as much momentum, whatever you want to call it. But what would be interesting is looking at holders, some metrics for each.
Yeah. So this one again. It didn't. I mean, look at this. Blub didn't do anything from that bottom.
This does look healthier than the other ones. The other ones are like down only. This one has at least started to go sideways.
Yeah, I could agree with that. And there, it seems like it's held like a specific bottom here, which is a good support.
Yeah,
So I would say, and I mean, this is the 20 million market cap, right? But I think you make a good point when you say we either have one of these is going to lead that market, right? One of these memes, and it's just trying to figure out which one, right? And
yeah,
I'm still 100% with AAA. I
because
think that's the leader.
Blub and Fudd, they went to 40, 50 million. Hippo went to 160. That it means a couple things, right? Like they had more momentum at first, yes, but they also have more bag holders, and AAA hasn't had that type of run yet. So, but I think it might be worth buying a bag of all, right? Like maybe just buy the biggest bag on the one you're most bullish on.
Yeah, I mean, it never hurts. It absolutely never hurts because one of them can lead, to Sui, to water drop. So one of the like water drop ones can lead, or it could just be like in general, like it's been in base, like it's been on Solana. Cats will lead, you know. So it's up to your discretion. But I am extremely bullish on AAA Cat, and yeah. Do you want to look at something or add anything?
No, I think we're good to wrap it there. That's a pretty pretty much how we're seeing the market. Like Soul, we went over the Soul memes on Friday, now the Sui memes, and I think tomorrow, what I want to look at is maybe outside of memes, like what are some good, like fundamentally strong projects that could sell off or could do well under a Trump regime, like some undervalued low cap alts, because it's not just all about the memes. Eventually, there will be a utility season, I think, especially under Trump. Once there's more like regulatory clarity, and I think there are some gems, like underappreciated gems, like that I know of that could be pretty good to bet on, potentially like 10 to 50x. So we'll take a look at those maybe later this week. And obviously, there's going to be a lot of chaos to process as the election unfolds. So make sure you guys are following us on Twitter and joining the Telegram. We're giving real time updates on the Telegram and giving entries and all our trades in there. So make sure you guys join.
Yep. And then so before we go, I do want to give an update on GOAT. I know that you're a big fan of GOAT, and I started to also root for GOAT. So just quickly before we go, this looks like a breakout, but it's looking more of like a fake out.
Fake me out.
Yeah. I ended up buying like the 786 here, like a short term trade. I made like 5%, and then I got out because it started looking bearish. But then essentially what I'm looking at is potentially coming back down to these levels, and we did talk about this.
300 mil.
300 mil, yeah, 320, 26 mil, and I have alerts here, so you guys make sure you're putting your alerts. So I have alerts on different levels, and that's the last update for GOAT. And don't fade on this one. This is a new alpha, so don't fade it. And
I'll tell you how I'm seeing it.
Like,
we obviously had like a lot of profit taking, lost momentum. The rotation went over to Peanut and some of the animal memes, and but it had like it showed life when you wanted it to, right? Like in the way it should have, at the levels it should have, and it shook out a lot of bag holders, and it shook out a lot of weak hands, and now you have strong hands. And what I think is, and what happened over the weekend is the guy that created it, Andy, he created, at first it only did text tweets, and now it can do images and video. So clearly this dev is like, he's in on this. Like I think he's going to come out as one of the best devs in crypto, but people aren't seeing him that way because they're just seeing GOAT. But at the end of the day, he's like a performance artist to me. He's like a Banksy for AI. He's done something crazy like that the world has never seen. And he's going to keep innovating, keep finding ways to keep the meme fresh, which I think gives it an edge over some of the static animal memes. And I think I'm DCAing back in. I wouldn't mind a dump like 2 or 3, 350, 400. I'm just DCAing in, and I'm targeting at least 2 billion to 5 billion in the near term.
No, I echo that. It's I think that's reasonable, especially. I mean, I agree with you on bidding down here because I could see this as a 10 billion. easy. 10
Yeah,
bucks.
and let's not forget, like if we flip that 0.5, that's changes the whole game, and it gets it can move pretty quickly. This thing just over the last 12 hours, it went from 450 to 550, 100 million. So
30% move. Yeah.
if you're a believer in the thesis, I would just say just like DCA, because I've tried to trade this thing and this thing just fakes you out. Like it's more that's crazier swings than even Bitcoin. So
Yeah.
I'm just gonna DCA and stop worrying about it.
Yeah, it's probably the best move. But all right, guys, thanks for tuning in. Make sure to follow us. Go on our Twitter and all that fun stuff.
Yep. Thanks for tuning in.
All right.